Welcome to the session Fluid Mechanics Part 3. The continuity equation. The continuity equation is the mathematical expression of the law of conservation of mass in fluid mechanics. Let us consider an arbitrary volume element. Now, the mass of the fluid flowing outward per second through the surface enclosing the volume element is integral over S rho v dot ds. The scalar product v dot ds reveals automatically that inward flow is negative. The quantity flowing out must be equal to decrease per second in the amount of fluid within the volume element, provided there are no sources or sinks present within the volume. This means we have integral over S rho v dot ds is equal to minus dou by dou t of integral over v rho dv. Let it be equation number 1. Using Gauss divergence theorem, equation 1 takes the form integral over v del dot rho v dou v is equal to negative of dou by dou t of integral v rho dv. Let it be equation number 2. Since equation 2 must hold well for every element of the volume, one finds del dot rho v is equal to minus dou rho divided by dou t. Let it be equation number 3. This equation is called the hydrodynamic equation of continuity. One can express this equation in the component form as dou by dou x of rho vx plus dou by dou y of rho vy plus dou by dou z of rho vz is equal to minus dou rho divided by dou t. Let it be equation number 4. The continuity for an incompressible fluid dou p by dou t is equal to 0 is del dot rho v is equal to 0 or dou by dou x of rho vx plus dou by dou y of rho vy plus dou by dou z of rho vz is equal to 0. Let it be equation number 5. With a steady motion, the flow liquid through a cross section of a stream filament does not depend on the location of the cross section. For two arbitrary cross section ds1 and ds2 of an elemental filament, the following conditions hold. Rho 1 v1 ds1 is equal to rho 2 v2 ds2. Let it be equation number 6. Further, if the liquid is incompressible, the density is same everywhere, and equation 6 reduces to v1 ds1 is equal to v2 ds2. Let it be equation number 7, or v ds is equal to a constant. Let it be equation number 8. It predicts that in the steady compressible flow, the speed of flow varies inversely with the cross sectional area being larger in the narrower parts of the tube. The Bernoulli's equation, steady flow of fluids. When dealing with the motion of liquids, we can often consider that the displacement of some portions of a liquid relative to others is not associated with the appearance of forces of friction. A liquid in which internal friction or viscosity is completely absent is called ideal or non-viscous. Consider now a region in a fluid where there is a stationary or steady flow as shown in figure 1. During a short time interval delta t, the fluid that was initially passing through surface A1 has advanced to the surface A1 dash, a distance delta x1 is equal to v1 into delta t, while the fluid at A2 has advanced a distance delta x2 to A2 dash. Since the remainder of the volume between surfaces A1 and A2 remains unchanged, one can focus attention on two equal volumes that are shown in the shaded area in figure 1. These two volumes are equal because we assume the fluid is incompressible and equation of continuity holds. Let F1 and F2 are the forces exerted in the surface A1 and A2 as a result of the pressure within the fluid. Because of these forces, work is done on or by the fluid in moving the two volumes. At A1, the surface is pushed by the fluid and the work done by the fluid is F1 into delta x1, while at A2, the fluid is pushing the surface and the work done by the fluid is F2 into delta x2. Obviously, the net work done on the volume of the fluid between A1 and A2 is W external is equal to F1 delta x1 minus F2 delta x2. W external is equal to P1 A1 delta x1 minus P2 A2 delta x2. Let it be equation number 9. Let P1 and P2 be the pressure in the fluid at A1 and A2 respectively. We have F is equal to P into A. Since A1 into delta x1 is equal to A2 into delta x2, according to the equation of the continuity and the assumption of incompressibility, one finally gets W external is equal to P1 minus P2 into A1 delta x1. Let it be equation number 10. The external work on a system changes the proper energy of the system. W external is equal to delta V. For the fluid volume shown in figure 1, the proper energy of the shaded volume is comprised of kinetic and gravitational potential energy. The fluids between A1 and A2 gains the energy in the volume A2 delta x2 and loses the energy in A1 delta x1. Let the two volumes have masses delta m which are equal, again due to the equation of continuity. Thus, the net gain energy is delta U is equal to U2 minus U1, which is equal to 1 by 2 into delta m V2 square minus delta m G Z2 minus of 1 by 2 into delta m V2 dash plus delta m G Z1. Since we have assumed an incompressible fluid, the density of fluid P is the same everywhere and delta m may be replaced by PA1 delta x1 for both ends. Thus, delta U is equal to 1 by 2 into rho V2 square plus rho G Z2 minus of 1 by 2 into rho V2 dash plus rho G Z1 into A1 delta x1. Let it be equation number 11. Combining equation 10 and 11, one finds P1 minus P2 is equal to 1 by 2 rho V2 square plus rho G Z2 minus of 1 by 2 rho V1 square plus rho G Z1, or 1 by 2 rho V1 square minus rho G Z1 plus P1 is equal to 1 by 2 rho V2 square plus rho G Z2 plus P2. Let it be equation number 12. Since equation 12 refers to quantities at two arbitrary points along a streamline, one may generalize to 1 by 2 rho V square plus rho G Z plus P is equal to a constant C. Let it be equation number 13. This result is known as Bernoulli's equation for steady non-viscous incompressible flow. This expresses conservation of energy in a fluid. The first term in equation 13 is the kinetic energy per unit volume, while the second term is potential energy per unit volume. Thus, one may consider pressure also in an energy per unit volume. If the flow is in a horizontal plane, Z1 is equal to Z2 only, the gravitational potential energy remains constant and equation 13 reduces to 1 by 2 rho V square plus P is equal to a constant. Let it be equation number 14. This shows that in a horizontal pipe, the greater the velocity of flow, the lower the pressure, and conversely. In other words, where the velocity of flow is less, the pressure is larger and vice versa. This effect is used to produce the lift of an airplane, figure number 2. The profile of the wing is so designed that the air has a greater velocity above the wing surface than below it. This greater velocity then produces a lower pressure above the wing than below it, and this different result is a net upward force. If the wing area is A, the upward force is F is equal to A into P2 minus P1, which is equal to 1 by 2 into A rho V1 square minus V2 square, where the subscripts 1 and 2 refer to the condition above and below to the wings respectively. Since 1 by 2 into V1 square minus V2 square is equal to 1 by 2 into V1 minus V2 into V1 plus V2, and one may approximate 1 by 2 into V1 minus V2 equal to the plane's air speed V, the resultant upward force of the lift may be expressed as F is equal to A into rho into V into V1 minus V2. A second example of Bernoulli's theorem is a fluid at rest or moving with a constant velocity in a pipe. In such circumstances, The kinetic energy of the fluid is a constant and may be dropped from equation 13, which then reduces to rho gz plus P is equal to a constant. Writing the constant by P naught, one then has the pressure in an incompressible fluid in equilibrium given by P is equal to P naught minus rho P z. Let it be equation number 15. For example, the pressure at the surface of a lake Z is equal to 0 is that caused by the atmosphere above it, that is atmospheric pressure, and the pressure then increases linearly as one goes below the surface because Z is negative as long as the lake water is considered incompressible. In the same way, as we increase our altitude above sea level, the atmospheric pressure decreases linearly as long as one may ignore variations in air density with altitude. One can also extend discussion to cases in which the fluid is compressible or the forces are not conservative. This latter situations arises, for example, when a fluid does shaft work in driving mechanism like a turbine in a hydroelectric installation, or when is exchanged with the surroundings as in an industrial chemical plant. The constant C appearing in equation 13 may in general be different for different streamlines. However, if the flow of fluid is irrotational, ohm is equal to del cross V vanishes throughout the entire fluid. When the fluid is placed in the gravitational field, we have F is equal to rho g, or minus del U is equal to minus rho del V, or capital U is equal to rho into capital V, where V is gravitational potential. Equation 12 now assumes the form V1 square divided by 2 plus V1 plus P1 divided by rho is equal to V2 square divided by 2 plus V2 plus P2 divided by rho, which is equal to a constant, or V1 square divided by 2 plus G into Z1 plus P1 divided by rho is equal to V2 square divided by 2 plus G into Z2 plus P2 divided by rho, which is equal to a constant, or V square divided by 2G plus P divided by rho G plus Z is equal to a constant. Let it be equation number 16. This is same as equation 13. Every term in equation 16 has the dimensions of length and is called the head. V square divided by 2G is the velocity of the head, P by rho G is the pressure head, and Z is the elevation head. The condition 16 is observed in a steadily flowing ideal liquid along any streamline. Equation 12 or equation 13 equivalent to it is called Bernoulli's equation. Although we obtained this equation for an ideal liquid, it is obeyed sufficiently well for real liquids in which the internal friction is not very great. One can also derive Bernoulli's equation directly from energy conservation principle. Venturimeter. This is an instrument based upon Bernoulli's principle and used for determining the velocity of a fluid in a pipe. It consists of two horizontal truncated pipes A and B, figure 3, connected together by a short length of cylindrical tube C. Two pressure gauges G1 and G2 measures the pressure in the pipe and at a contraction inserted in it. Let A1 be the cross-sectional area of the main pipe A and B, and A2 that of the restricted throat C. Let P1 and P2 be the pressures and V1 and V2 be the velocities of water in A and B respectively. If there is no friction between the pipe and the flowing water, then the pressure and velocity in B will be same as in A. The equation of continuity gives A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2, or V2 is equal to A1 divided by A2 into V1. Let it be equation number 17. Also, if pipe is horizontal, Bernoulli's theorem gives us 1 by 2 into rho V1 square plus P1 is equal to 1 by 2 plus V2 square plus P2. Let it be equation number 18. Substituting the value of V2 from equation 17 in equation 18, solving for V1, one finally obtains V1 is equal to square root of 2 into P1 minus P2 divided by rho into A1 divided by A2 the whole square minus 1 is equal to K into square root of P1 minus P2. Let it be equation number 19, where K is a constant depending on the pipe and on the density of the fluid. The amount of fluid passing through any section of the pipe per unit time is V is equal to A1 into V1, which is equal to K into A1 into square root of P1 minus P2. Let it be equation number 20. The actual discharge is, however, slightly less than that obtained from equation 20 due to the friction between the pipe and the water, the viscous forces and eddy motions. Relation 20, specifying the dependence of the flow rate on the pressure difference, serves as the theoretical foundation for the construction of a device known as water flow meter, which makes it possible to determine from the pressure difference the amount of water passing through the cross section of the pipe in unit time. Laminar and turbulent flow. An ideal fluid is a fluid which is non-viscous and incompressible. However, such an ideal fluid does not exist around us. According to Newman, such an ideal fluid is white water. In the preceding analysis, we have not considered an essential property of real fluids, the internal friction or viscosity. This is a property inherent to some extent or other in all real fluids, liquids and gases. Viscosity manifests itself in that motion set up in a fluid gradually stops after the action of the reasons causing the motion is discontinued. If the internal friction or viscous force per unit volume in a fluid in motion is F viscous, the equation of motion becomes F plus F viscous minus delta P is equal to rho into dV divided by dt. And equation minus del u minus del p is equal to rho into dV divided by dt plus rho into 1 by 2 del p square plus ohm plus V, read as minus del capital U plus F viscous minus del p is equal to rho into dV divided by dt plus 1 by 2 del V square plus ohm cross V. Although the approximation of considering the fluid as incompressible is often quite good, but internal friction or viscosity is significant. Two kinds of flow of a fluid, liquids or gas, is observed. In some cases, the liquids separate, as it were, into layers that slide relative to one another without mixing. Such flow is called laminar, from the Latin word lamina meaning plate or strip, as shown in figure 4. The parallel layers in the fluid flow part one another with different velocities. As a result of viscosity, the more rapidly moving layer tends to drag the adjacent layer along with it and thus accelerate it. Reciprocally, we can say that the slower tends to retard the faster one. If we introduce a colored stream into a laminar flow, it is retained without being washed out over the entire length of the flow, because the liquid particle in a laminar flow do not pass over from one layer to another. A laminar flow is steady. Turbulent flow. With an increase in the velocity or cross-sectional dimension of a flow, its nature changes quite appreciably. Vigorous stirring of the liquid appears. Such a flow is called turbulent. In a turbulent flow, the velocity of particles at each given place constantly changes. Chaotically, flow is not steady. If we introduce a colored stream into a turbulent flow, already at a small distance from the place of its introduction, the colored liquid will be uniformly distributed over the entire session. Now let me summarize this session. The continuity equation is the mathematical expression of the law of conservation of mass in fluid mechanics. The Bernoulli's equation for steady non-viscous incompressible flow is given by 1 by 2 into rho into V square plus rho into G into Z plus P is equal to a constant C. Bernoulli's equation is valid for an ideal barotropic fluid in a conservative force field. Venturimeter is an instrument based upon Bernoulli's principle and used for determining the velocity of a fluid in a pipe. Two kinds of flow of a fluid are laminar and turbulent flows. In laminar flow, the liquid separates, as it were, into layers that slides relative to one another without mixing. In turbulent flow, the velocity of the particle at each given place constantly changes. Chaotically, flow is not steady. Here are some questions for you to solve. First one, what is the basic problem of fluid dynamics? Second one, state and prove the principle of continuity in the flow of liquids. Third one, state and prove Bernoulli's theorem and deduce Bernoulli's equation. Fourth one, explain the principle and working of a venturimeter to determine the flow of a liquid. Fifth one, give some simple illustrations of Bernoulli's theorem. I can suggest some books for your further reading. First one, a textbook of fluid mechanics by R.K. Rajput. Second one, Fluid Mechanics, a course reader by Jeremy M. Third one, An Introduction to Fluid Dynamics by G.K. Batchelor. Fourth one, Elementary Fluid Dynamics by D.J. Adson. Thank you for watching this session. See you next time. Until then, goodbye.